see. And of course, Saida was just making the point that we've done a lot in education, but Divine Quay, I know that you definitely contest that because you feel that there's a lot more we need to do in education.
Of course, we have a lot more to do in education, especially when it comes to closing the rural-urban gap that exists in access and then quality delivery. Quick examples could be the availability of furniture to the schools, while nationally about 40% of students in basic schools are not having access to furniture. When you look at the underserved areas or regions, the number is about over 80%. And also when we talk of improvement in BC rates, we see that generally the average is about 76% nationally, but we see some of the underserved regions and districts perform very low. So it's very important. So for us in this election, as far as basic education is concerned, the concentration among the political parties should be about closing the gap that exists in the urban and then the rural area.
Okay, but how about the tertiary level? You just had one of the students ask that controversial question about the quota system, the allowances and all of that. Even one of them asked you a question about that. What's the position of EduWatch on this, and what do you feel political parties should be doing at this time about it in terms of featuring that in their manifesto?
Well, what political parties should be doing, what we say do not like it, we have always been saying it. What the question should be, what necessitated the introduction of the quota system? If there's no allowance, financial commitment on government side to be paying allowance, government could expand access and admit more students. In fact, we've seen that increments actually and admission in colleges of education actually surged when the allowance was removed during the Mahama regime. What it tells you is that the reintroduction of the allowance is also a factor limiting access to more of admission of more of the students. So for us, we have been making the point from the onset that this reintroduction of the allowance is needless. We strongly believe spending about 240 million annually to feed adults in tertiary institutions, when we can strengthen the student loans transfer system so that they can also have access to the so we don't need that. So our position is that the political parties, although I know it's very difficult for them because it's a political issue, but we need to humble ourselves and swallow the bitter pill to ensure that we are wasting the money. The 240 million annually could have been channeled to improve something else in the education space. So that is very important. Again, we also need to expand infrastructure in the colleges of education. There are a lot of abandoned projects in the colleges of education. If you go to any of the colleges, there are ongoing, So if government is able to complete some of these projects, government will be able to expand access also in terms of admission. So first we need to address this issue of the allowance that is still in the system. The point is that we don't need allowance to do anything, because the point people always make is that people need the allowance to come to the college, but I always depart from that part, because there are a lot of interventions that are actually motivation for somebody to go to college of education. In fact, the college has now been moved from diploma awarding institution to degree awarding. That's enough motivation for somebody. And then also, for the very fact that there's a job ready waiting for you, it's also a motivation for somebody. And we don't need the allowance to incentivize anybody to come to the college of education.